Original. And I'm in love with the money.
Hi, today I have Andre Dawkins with me, mortgage broker extraordinaire. He's been in the business for over 17 years. And guess what? If the bank says no, call Andre. Andre, I'll give you some time, 30 seconds to introduce yourself.
Hello. First off, thank you for having me on your show, Cardeen. I'm excited to partner with you here to enlighten your viewers and listeners on what the power of a HELOC can do for them. So I am a mortgage broker, been in the industry for 16 plus years. The brand, call Andre, AKA if the bank says no way, you better call Andre. Even if the bank says yes way, still call Andre. And I'm the proud owner of CA Mortgage Group, where the CA stands for care about, as in we care about you. Thank you.
Awesome. So today the topic, death trap or wealth strategy. So we're going to delve into some of the truths about your HELOC and how you can use it to secure your financial future, or maybe not. We'll figure it out as we have this conversation. So Andre, tell us, what exactly is a HELOC and how is it different from, say, a traditional mortgage or doing a refinance?
Awesome. Great question. So a HELOC is what it stands for, a home equity line of credit. It's the ability to utilize the equity in your home in order to leverage your position. So it's neither a good thing or a bad thing. It all depends on how you use it, right? And ultimately, the difference between a regular mortgage has what we call principal and interest payments with compounding interest, whereas a HELOC has simple interest with interest-only payments. So again, back to my initial point, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, depending on how you use it.
Okay. So also with the HELOC, right, it's kind of revolving. It's like almost like a credit card somewhat, where you can use the credit, pay it back, use the credit, pay it back. Is that how it works?
Absolutely. So yes, that is the next point of the HELOC structure, where you have the ability to have it readvanceable, right? So basically, as you pay down the facility, you have the ability to reuse it. So it could be a tool used to safe net your future based on putting your earnings in there and not having to worry about, with a traditional mortgage, you're restricted to a prepayment privilege percentage of how much you can allocate per each year. And when you do that, you basically are throwing money into a mortgage that you can no longer get back until it's time that the term is up for renewal, and then you refinance, right? So the flexibility of the HELOC allows you to put as much funds as possible that you can, disposable income, extra funds that come in, money that you have in other accounts you might be saving for a rainy day. You structure it all to go into this one vehicle, and therefore it will then allow you, A, to save on interest, B, to not be restricted to think that, hey, I'm not able to get this money back if an emergency comes up and I need that capital.
Okay. And the reason why they call it HELOC, home equity, is because, and the reason why too, as you said, it's lower interest rates, is because it is secured, right? It's secured against your property.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a registered charge against your property. And you are basically looking at, just like a regular mortgage, you got to go to a lawyer, you got to get it registered. The benefit though is that, again, back to my point earlier, there's no set term. It runs infinite. So this is actually a great strategy for self-employed people, for those individuals that are nearing retirement ages, anybody who has been in their home for 10 years plus and has accumulated equity to work with, because at the end of the day, this is how you now become in the driver's seat of leveraging what is that you are entitled to, because the equity in your home, at the end of the day, it's a number. People are always fascinated on, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm looking at what is my house worth today? What is my house worth today? Your house is worth this much today, but tomorrow it can be worth less. But the point is, what are you doing with that money? I have so many stories of individuals that, they might have their mortgage paid down to 100K, 200K, or even 0K, and meaning that they're mortgage free, and which is a great victory. But at the end of the day, the question you got to ask yourself is, what are you doing with that capital that is sitting there? That's just like leaving money
Yeah.
under your mattress and not doing anything with it. And if you look at the principle of what a bank does, what do? You deposit $1, they lend out $3. So why don't you get the mentality of a bank, right? And become your own banker and hold control of your financial destiny, right?
Exactly. And you said something earlier. You said it's neither good or bad. HELOC is not neither good or bad. It's how you use it. So what are some of the smart ways individuals could use a HELOC to help propel their financial security or their wealth building?
So the reason I say neither good or bad primarily is just because, most people, it all boils down to your money management skills, right? And this is why neither it's good or bad. As the same token, it's not something that is good for everyone, because depending on how you manage your inner compass when it comes to finances, right? So at the end of the day, we look to make sure that it's the right pair for that individual. But ultimately, the best way to use the HELOC is to put as much money in and be restricted on how much money comes out per month, right? As long as you follow that formula where you have more surplus going in than withdrawals coming out, then ultimately you're paying it down faster, saving on interest. And then in terms of smart ways to use it, this is where the leverage point comes in, where someone like yourself, being an insurance strategist, can put that money to work for that individual. So there's so many different vehicles which you could speak on in terms of investing the capital that is in the home that is now going to be put to use, so that now you can generate another vehicle of building your financial fortress, right? Because a lot of people are just banking on their home and the value in the home, but why not put that money to work and watch it compound, watch it grow? Albert Einstein said the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest, right? So at the end of the day, it's who knows it is who earns it, and who doesn't know it will spend it. So at the end of the day, you need to get on the other side of that equation and put it to work so that it can grow. Because if you do that, you can end up with double the value that your house would have been worth and have all these things set up for your future, right?
Yeah, and personally, I am a homeowner. I've used my HELOC to do further investing as well, right? I've purchased additional properties using a HELOC, and debt consolidation is one way to use a HELOC as well, right? Because lowering the interest payments, you have high interest debt, use a HELOC to lower those interest payments and then freeing up some cash, right? And as you said, more coming in, meaning paying down your HELOC, than the interest charge, because that's one of the questions or the math that someone has to do to make sure that taking a HELOC is the right thing, right? You have to know that whatever you're putting that money to work in will provide you more income than the interest expense, right? So you're netting a positive cash flow. And yes, from an insurance perspective, there's lots we could put your HELOC to work to do with the insurance industry. You could get into segregated funds, right? That will allow you to kind of diversify your portfolio, plus tap into market type returns, right? Last year was great for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. This is some place you can actually use that HELOC money and reinvest it, because you said it, Andre, when it's in the home, just sitting there, it's doing nothing. It's like it doesn't exist. Is when you put it to work to generate cash flow or increase your wealth, that it's you're actually leveraging the potential of your HELOC. And again, the other good way to use it in the insurance industry is looking into getting a cash value life insurance policy, because this allows you to grow your cash value and have that grow tax free. And I like to compare it to actually owning a home, because when you take out a HELOC, one, you're adding more debt, right? And whenever you add more debt, that's a trigger point for you to reassess your insurance needs, and you'll likely need more, right? So add that. Get that additional coverage with your cash value life insurance policy. But guess what? It also allows you to build an asset inside of it, tax sheltered, that you can also leverage similarly to how you leverage real estate, right? And it adds liquidity, and it provides you with tax efficient ways to access cash without all that rigmarole that you help people with, Andre, and also tax efficient wealth transfer. So awesome opportunities there when you pull that equity from your home with the intent of reinvesting it. And that is key, reinvesting
Absolutely.
it. So whatever income you're earning is more, right?
Absolutely. That is the key. Leverage is the name of the game. Like, you touch the button right there, right? And that's what people need to get into, that money matter mindset, right? In terms of leveraging and you becoming the boss of your final destination in your finances, right? So
so
buying
caution,
another
don't go buy
property,
that
as you
luxury
touched
car,
on.
Right?
Say that again, sir.
Andre? I say caution, don't go buy that luxury car with your HELOC.
Exactly. No, that is something you do not want to do. I mean, that's not the key benefit of it, right? Like, again, that can be incorporated into your strategy, but it's about strategy, not just luxurious spending or just spending for the sake of it, right? You got to have control and a plan, right?
Buy an asset that generates income to pay for the car. That's my thought.
Absolutely. That's it right there. That's how you leverage, again, right? The key word of the day is leveraging. So go for it.
I was just going to say, we touched on something. I said, don't use it to buy a luxury car, right? What are some of the risks that people should bear in mind when considering whether or not to leverage or use a HELOC? What are some of the common pitfalls that individuals should avoid?
Just discretionary spending is the real biggest hurdle per se. And once you have control on that, then sky's the limit, right? And just making calculated decisions on what it is you're investing in as well, right? So not everything that shines and glitters is gold, right? So you have to be cautious and careful, but at the same time, you have to be courageous in terms of leveraging. Takes, wit, it takes guts, it takes heart. Like, it's the same thing for right now. A lot of landlords, might be going through a cash flow hurdle per se, but if you had a line of credit, it would give you the ability to weather the storm, right? So again, that is one of the biggest things, that when things come up in life and you don't have any way to have control over it, having a line of credit in place definitely helps you get through those turbulent times, because you can utilize it to continue to make your payments when you cannot. If you have a regular mortgage, you got to make the payment and that's it, right? And then how do you get through? Like, that is a key point, right? And one thing I want people to know is that, there's some unique programs that allow individuals to qualify for these lines of credits, because at the end of the day, it is a little bit more tedious in terms of the income required or what the case may be, especially with government regulations and new rules with mortgages, etc. But again, a professional like myself has access to multiple different lenders that offer multiple different products in lines of credits, from your A banks to your B banks, even private lenders who offer these lines of credit solutions, right? So don't discount yourself, don't discredit yourself thinking that, hey, you're not able to obtain this. Find out from a professional, right? Let's get a consultation happening and see where you stand.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, the past number of years, 4 or so years, we've had various things that would have impacted our HELOCs for who had them in place, interest rates, right? And that would have impacted your ability to pay back those HELOCs. So yes, it would have presented definitely strains. But what again I like about when you were saying that, I was thinking about how my insurance policy served me during the period of difficulty with the higher interest rates, higher cost of living, right? It was a source of funds that I was able to easily access, right, to help with certain expenses, right, certain needs that popped up. And it's good to have a HELOC, but also caution, know when you're unable to pay, maybe because of an illness or an injury and you're out of work for an extended period of time. Sometimes the banks reduce your HELOC, right? Or take it away. So that's one risk that you have to bear in mind. And what you put to safeguard against that is those income protection products that the insurance industry offers. Your critical illness coverage, your disability coverage for those instances where you're not able to work and generate an income to help you pay back your obligations. Those benefits will chip in, right, to make sure that your ship doesn't sink just because you're unable to earn.
Awesome. That's the
So
power of insurance. Definitely.
that's the power of insurance. And you merge real estate and insurance together, and it makes spectacular opportunity to generate wealth, right? You add
Holy
assets to your
matrimony.
portfolio, yeah, but make sure to protect them as well. So,
Absolutely.
what other concerns would there be when thinking about a HELOC? Is there anything else you wanted to mention or say about HELOC use and maybe even leveraging insurance?
Overall, I think it's, a paramount decision that one investigates and gets the right information. And I just want to put it out there that a lot of us operate from fear or uncertainty, right? And when you're presented with this concept and it's not making sense in terms of it's not what you're used to, I don't want you to discount it and just say, hey, no, 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 it's not for me. I don't want to do this, right? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Rather, take the time and process the information. And after you process the information, come back with questions, concerns, and let's get them addressed together. So that way, you make a sound, educated, informed decision, right? Because if you continue to do what you've been doing all your life, you're going to get the same results. If you look at a new strategy, a new way of looking at things and seeing what others are doing to be successful, then that might be a path for you. So don't block your blessings.
Yeah, yeah. And in summary, basically, a HELOC is just leveraging it could be your your primary residence or investment property, but leveraging that equity to access cash that you can use for further investing. And what you choose to do with it will impact how you grow wealth and your financial security. Don't go shopping or buying that luxury car. Instead, buy assets that actually increase your ability to generate income. And you can look further into real estate. Andre can help you with those avenues, right? Or you can look at the insurance industry, especially leveraging the tax advantages that it offers. But when you're using your HELOC, recognize too that you are increasing your liability. So you do need to protect that risk, right? Making sure that it can be paid off if something happens to you with life insurance. Making sure that if you're out of work due to a serious illness or a serious injury, that you have income coming in so that you don't risk losing that asset that you've leveraged, right? And if you have questions, call Andre. He'll be able to answer your questions about leveraging a HELOC, right? Grow your wealth, create generational wealth tax efficiently. So look at the various tools that are available to us. We know that right now the economy, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, but there are ways to create passive income streams as well as put certainty where there is uncertainty. So thank you so much for listening. Andre, any final words?
No, I think you've touched on all the key points and have given great framework to your viewers and listeners and empowered them with what they need to know on the topic matter, right? And how it all relates to their financial well-being. So another great Money Matters episode. And I'm glad that I was able to be a part of it to assist. So thank you.
Well, thank you too for joining. And that was just food for thought, everyone. Reach out for more information. Bye.
Bye-bye.